Here's my audience.
Okay. Today I'm discussing solar power and why solar energy is the best way to combat climate change. So what is climate change? While previously referred to as global warming, scientists have since realized that global warming is not the only effect of climate change. It also includes wildfires, floods, droughts, melting ice caps, and other forms of extreme weather. This is a natural occurrence, however, it was heightened due to humans' high use of non-renewable energy sources. This includes burning coal and oil, which generates carbon emissions, which go into the atmosphere to deteriorate the ozone layer. As a way to combat this, scientists have come upon renewable energy sources. So what is renewable energy? According to the National Defense Resource Council, it is energy that comes from natural resources or processes that are constantly being replenished. So renewable energy comes in numerous different forms, all of which I'm going to discuss, but all in all, it is a cleaner, healthier way to help the environment and humans create energy across the world. One form of renewable energy, and all of my information comes from the United States Energy Information Administration. But one form is wind energy. Wind energy has these large turbines that transform wind energy into kinetic energy into usable energy. This, however, is highly dependent on wind cycles and wind patterns, so these turbines can only be placed in areas with high wind patterns consistently. Once these turbine locations are located, they are further limited because they are super unsightly and noisy, which makes them impossible to be placed near housing developments and businesses. These turbines also create waste as they're being generated, which does not help the impacts of climate change. So wind energy is a fantastic source, but it is very limited in its progress. Another form is hydraulic energy, which is actually one of the first forms of renewable energy created and utilized. This takes water's kinetic energy and it turns it into mechanical energy that can be used in households and businesses and really wherever it's needed. However, the energy comes from the use of turbines or large dams, which often disrupt nearby ecosystems and which will limit animal migration patterns, cut off food sources, and other forms of disruption, which are not worth the cost of this cleaner energy. It is fantastic because it is not limited location-wise. It can be used pretty much anywhere with water. However, it does always disrupt the ecosystem. Then we come to geothermal energy, which is actually my favorite source because it uses heat from within the earth. The earth's core is almost 10,000 degrees. So we just take a small portion of that and utilize it in our homes, businesses, and wherever else it is needed. This creates absolutely zero carbon emissions, which is super beneficial for the earth and the people using it. However, it is limited by its location, similar to other sources, and it can only be used with hot springs or with areas that have direct access to the Earth's core. So it's a great form of energy and it is very powerful, but it is limited in location. Then we come to biomass energy, which is also an older source that we've utilized. This takes humans' waste products such as wood or sewage or crop waste, and it burns it and turns it into fuel that can be used. However, this is very similar to the burning of coal and oil and therefore creates a multitude of carbon emissions, making it almost ineffective. It helps reduce waste, which is why it's continued to be used. However, there are other sources that are much more efficient. Then we come to solar energy, which is my personal favorite and what I believe to be the most effective way of combating climate change. So solar energy uses photovoltaic cells that transforms the sun's light energy and turns it into energy that can be used or electricity for households and businesses. This is a super convenient source of energy because these cells can be placed virtually anywhere. There can be entire solar farms, they can go on roofs, and they're even used in small products such as calculators and lamps. Solar is a very effective way because once people install these panels at their house, they won't have to pay an electricity bill or an energy bill for over 30 years. They are very low maintenance and don't require a lot of extra help. However, they are more pricey to install because it is not a popular form of energy. There are currently 1.9 million solar installations across the United States. However, this is shy compared to the 300 million American citizens. Once this number increases, getting closer and closer to 300 million, then the price of solar panels will become cheaper and it will be the same as getting a TV or internet installed. This is super beneficial because it will be utilized as renewable energy and will become a very popular source that anyone will be able to afford. And it will ultimately decrease carbon emissions nationwide. So, how do we rise the number of solar installations and lower the number of renewable energy sources being used? Well, we use the Paris Agreement. The Paris Agreement was formed by Australia's government as a way to decrease carbon emissions and to double the use of renewable energy. This plan was used by the United Nations, which has used this agreement to create jobs, to implement these plans worldwide, to finance countries that may not be able to afford renewable energy, and it creates a month-by-month plan to refine this agreement. If the United States were to utilize this agreement, it would legally enforce solar energy and would allow United States citizens to use this agreement, therefore encouraging solar energy worldwide. That's why solar energy is the best way to combat climate change. The end.